Hello and welcome. On this video, I'm going to be presenting Emotional Freedom Technique, or EFT for short, for do-it-yourself purposes. And before I go into the procedure for the tapping and that kind of thing, I want to give you a little bit of a rundown as to kind of how to approach this. Basically, you're looking for an emotion, or it could be a habit or something like that. Mostly we're dealing with emotions. And you're looking for the specific thing that's actually creating a reaction in your body. Now, that's not necessarily going to be the thing that seems, at least on a conscious level, to be the most significant to you. And the other thing about it is you want to be as specific as possible in terms of narrowing down what it is that's creating the reaction. So let me kind of take that apart. First of all, like I said, the severity of the issue or the trauma or whatever it is doesn't necessarily correspond to how it's affecting you on an energetic level. So you could have a rather severe issue going on. Let's say maybe somebody in your life died recently, something like that, which you would think of as being the really significant issue. But there may be something else that's actually triggering the electric or energetic response in your body that's a little bit different from that major trauma. So for instance, let's say you lost your job recently and you're really angry, and you know that it's anger, but you want to get a little more specific. In the office, if you're dealing with somebody who actually is a professional and uses emotional freedom technique in a clinical setting, there's various ways that they're going to elicit what the problem is. But if you're doing it on your own, you got to be a little bit intuitive and maybe do a little, trial and error, trying different things to see what's going to have the most effect on you. So, for instance, if you're angry, the temptation is to go through and use anger as the emotion that you're trying to clear. But it might be more specific than that. So instead of being angry, you might be angry about losing your job. But again, even that might not be quite what's going on. So let's take it a step further. Let's say you lost your job, you're all upset about it, and you go and you talk to your friend and you say, "Oh my God, I lost my job. It's horrible. I can't believe they treated me this way. I didn't do anything wrong. They just fired me for no good reason." And your friend kind of goes, "You should hear what happened to me." And your friend then goes off on all the stuff that's going wrong in his or her or their life. And you're going, "Dude, where's the support here?" So, you're angry, but that big initial anger of losing your job may not actually be what's triggering your issues relative to your friend kind of blowing you off. So you kind of have to make that distinction. And like I said, a little trial and error might actually be necessary, whereas we can kind of test and see what's there using muscle testing in the office. So that's just something to be aware of. And the more specific you are and the more accurate you are as to what you're trying to discharge, the more effective it will be. And in fact, I recommend you actually concentrate more on that than on the specific location of the points, because frankly, you can be way off on the points and it'll still work. But if you're way off on what it is you're trying to release, it's not going to help you that much. So let me go ahead and go into an actual, show you what points to tap, what to do, and what to say, and that kind of thing. So first of all, you're going to be tapping on a series of points while you say a certain affirmation that's related to the emotional event that you're trying to basically tamp down the emotional charge of it and reduce that energetic effect that it's having on your body. So let's say that I'm going to use anger for the emotion, and again, remember that it may be more specific. So while I'm going to be using, "Even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself," as the affirmation I'm going to use while I tap, instead of that, it might be, "Even though I'm angry about my friend not being supportive of me when I lost my job, I deeply and completely accept myself." So it may be a fairly long affirmation depending on what it is that's bothering you. So let me just do it through anger, just because it's a little bit faster, faster than going through the a really long, complicated affirmation. All right. So to start with, the first part of it is you're going to be tapping on a series of points. And you can, generally they recommend you tap on the same side of the body. You only do one side of the body, but choose one side, choose the left side or the right side and stick with it. I have not found that that makes that big of a difference. I've had situations where for one reason or another I needed to kind of switch back and forth. But for the most part, they recommend you stick to one side of the body. So I'm going to just kind of show you on, left side of my body, using my right hand to tap. So what you would do is you start with kind of right on the eyebrow, and I'm going to have a written series of instructions for this as well. They'll show you the points in a little more detail. But you're going to start by right in the center of the eyebrow, and you say, even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself, as you tap it repeatedly. Then you go over to the side of the eye and the same thing. Even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Then under the eye, even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Then between the nose and the upper lip, kind of in that depression there, even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Then between the lower lip and the chin, kind of in that little depression there, even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Then the next ones, you can do either one in either order. Again, it doesn't really matter, but you'll see one set of instructions will say one versus the other. But right under the collarbone, so if you kind of feel around, feel first that hard bone there, and you come just below it and you tap, even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Then there's basically in the center of the armpit. When I do this in the office, I actually kind of do it more towards the back of the arm, so I'm not getting up in people's business. But if you're doing it on yourself, you can actually do it in the center of the armpit. Even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Then you come down to the points on the hand. And what you're doing is basically you're going to do the points on the thumb side at the base of the fingernail. So on this one, I'll be over here. Even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Now, in a lot of the instructions, you'll see that they skip one of these fingers. I'm pretty sure it's the middle finger. I just do them all. Again, it doesn't matter, and it's going to take you all of about 3 seconds longer. So just do them all. It's easier than trying to figure out, well, which one was I supposed to skip? Doesn't matter. So then the next point is on the side of the hand. They call it the karate chop point. Even though I'm angry, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, so that's the first step of the process, is doing that series of points. Then there's a point right in here, basically between the fourth and fifth finger, kind of follow down from the knuckle and go right between them in the middle. And you're going to tap on this repeatedly as you do a series of steps that kind of activate different aspects of the brain. So the first one is eyes open, then eyes closed, then eyes open, and then you're going to look down to one side. I'm going to go to the left first, and then down to the right with your eyes, then roll them one way, and roll them back the other way. And then you're going to count to 5 out loud, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then hum a tune. Anything familiar works. I usually use Happy Birthday because everybody knows that one. And you go, doesn't need to be very much. And then you do count to 5 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now we're going to go back and hit those other points again with a shortened version of the affirmation. And in this case, we're just going to say the word or phrase that was producing the emotional response. So in this case, it was anger. So angry, angry, and just keep saying angry as you tap those points again. So we're doing above the eye, side of the eye, below the eye, angry. And again, if you're doing a longer affirmation, in this case, you wouldn't just say angry, you'd say angry about my friend not being supportive, something like that. So we're going to start again. So above the eye, angry, side of the eye, angry, below the eye, angry, below the nose, angry, below the lip, angry, right below the collarbone, angry, center of the armpit, angry, and then back to the fingers again. So we're going to go to the, like I said, the outer edge of the nail at the very base of it, angry, 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 angry. Okay, so that's the entire procedure run through once. Now, certain things you'll need to do more than once. So depending on the severity and the intensity of it and how long it's been there, you may need to do it more than once. If you're going to do it a second time for the same exact phrasing, so if you're doing angry, or if you're doing angry about my friend not being supportive, you would use the exact same language, but instead of in that first run through saying, even though I'm angry, blah, 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 you'd say, even though I'm still somewhat angry. And you run through it for every subsequent run through of the same affirmation. You would say, even though I am still somewhat, whatever it is. So that's the way you go through for subsequent run throughs. First time you just do it, straight out like we did. So that about covers the basic procedure. Again, I'll put the written instructions so it'll be easy to refer to what points to use and that sort of thing. But again, spend a little time trying to figure out exactly what it is that's really impacting you. And sometimes you won't know. Sometimes it'll say, I'm angry about losing my job. And it doesn't really do much for you. But then you start thinking about it. It's like, well, yeah, okay, my friend wasn't very supportive. Let me try that. And then by doing a little detective work and a little bit of trial and error, a lot of times you can find something that really has a dramatic impact on it. Whereas some of the stuff where it really wasn't what your body was reacting to, it's just not going to have that big of an effect. So that covers it for this video. I hope you got something out of it, and thank you for watching.